How's it going, everybody? I'm Lewis, and we've got a new developer blog from the old school RuneScape team. This is the Inferno. So recently, in the last poll, they polled an expansion to the Fight Caves and Jad 2. This failed at 72%, which is very close to the 75 required to pass, but it just didn't make it. In this developer blog, they want to expand on the idea as a piece of content that's completely separate from the Tsar Fight Cave. They want to name this the Inferno, and it'll be the home of Jad 2, also known as the Tuzkal Zuk. So let's check out the Inferno. The Inferno is the next step up for challenges offered by the Tsar. Those of you daring enough to take on the Inferno will be made to sacrifice a fire cape in order to be granted access to this intense test of skill. However, this payment of a fire cape will be a one-time only fee. So it will ensure that you have at least killed Jad before going to it once. However, it won't be some kind of fire cape sink. And we've also got to remember that the Inferno will be an entirely separate game from the Tsar Fight Cave. If you accept this challenge, you'll be faced with over 40 waves of 6 previously unseen Tsar monsters, leading up to the fight of a lifetime. The Inferno will test even the most skilled players, challenging you both mechanically and in terms of endurance. If you're able to make it to the final fight, you're in for a treat. You'll be up against Tuzkal Zuk, an incredibly fierce foe that will not be taken down by just anyone. Their goal with this content is to, once again, bring us the same feeling of accomplishment the first time you kill Tuzkal Jad. This boss will be very challenging, and will hopefully turn you into a panicky mess as you approach the final fight. So I must admit, so far the idea of the Inferno has grabbed me. Let's check out the rewards the Inferno will offer if you manage to beat it. As with the previous Jad 2 suggestion, they'll be offering a new best-in-slot melee cape as a reward for completing the Inferno and taking down Tuzkal Zuk. However, they won't be offering the mage or range one. Looking at the stats of this attack cape, it's the exact same as the melee one they offered for Jad 2 before. However, this one doesn't appear to have any prayer bonuses. So, whether you like this or you don't like this, you're probably wondering when are they going to poll this, and particularly how are they going to poll this? Well, this content will be offered in 2 questions. One asking whether or not you would like the content, and the other asking whether or not you would like the reward. So the 2 questions will be, should the Inferno be added to old school RuneScape? This is an activity similar to the Fire Cave, offering waves of monsters. And should a new best-in-slot melee cape be given as a reward for defeating Tuzkal Zuk? Now, when they originally polled Jad 2, I voted yes. But now, this content has changed significantly, and I may potentially change my mind. I will have to think about it, and we'll see when they actually poll it. So, if the Inferno passes, when can we expect to see it in old school? Initially, they had planned to release the Inferno around mid-February, as they had a gap in their release schedule. However, if the Inferno is a separate piece of content, this becomes more of a challenge. They need to know what we think is best to help them move forward with the Inferno and old school as a whole. If they end up releasing the Inferno in mid-February, as originally planned, the content might not be all it could be visually. They'd likely have to reuse a lot of assets from the existing Tsar area, tweaking them to make them look unique. The gameplay will not suffer as a result of the content being released in February, however the graphics certainly will. Past mid-February, they have a very full development schedule, which includes a lot of updates, instrumental in both keeping people playing old school and reaching new players. Content such as Monkey Madness 2, Deadman Mode seasonal servers, Zaya Batch 2, and a lot more. Because of this tight development schedule and significance of what they plan on making, they'll be very limited to how much time they can spend on the Inferno. Additionally, they have the option of not releasing the Inferno at this point in time. They can hold on to the update until Zaya Batch 3 comes out next January, where it will fit in perfectly with the Tuzkal, which is a race closely related to the Tsar, who reside in a dilapidated, dormant volcano. This will provide them with ample time to make the content visually pleasing, as well as very engaging and challenging. If the Inferno is pushed back, they'll be able to spend the next few open weeks in their development schedule working on quality of life requests. Throughout February, they could run weekly polls filled with the brim with quality of life suggestions from us. They'll be able to turn around the updates shortly after they've been polled, making February a great month for polishing what they've already got in old school. So, before they go ahead, they really need to know what's out of the 2 options that we want. Push to get the Inferno out in mid-February with tweaked assets and overall low standard of visuals, or push the Inferno back to next January to come with Zaya Batch 3. Filling the open time in their schedule with a massive amounts of quality of life jobs. This decision will come down to what the community wants the most, so make sure you let them know on the forums, maybe Twitter, maybe even the subreddits. So, if the Inferno passes its poll, I'm trying to work out whether I'd prefer it as soon as possible, which would be nice, however it wouldn't be quite as fun, or have it next year, and they can develop it, make it really good. As much as I would like to see something like this be released really quickly, I really like the idea of having a similar game like the Fight Caves in Tasakau's area. It makes sense to me, and seeing as the Tasakau could be some kind of upgrade on the Tsar, I think having the upgraded cape would make a lot more sense there. So I'm perfectly happy to wait. We've got plenty of bosses if you want to kill bosses, and that cape is completely unnecessary for our current gameplay. As for the content itself, I quite like the idea of fighting through waves. Obviously we know it's successful because, well, the Fight Caves are very successful. And the idea of a higher level Jad and higher level creatures is very interesting because Jad is such an achievement, but we know there are players that can just completely own him, and they probably want more of a challenge. If you want to watch the latest poll video, please click here for Zaya, Dead Man Mode and Jad 2. And if you want to watch the latest old school RuneScape update, please click here for price checks and improvements. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and share, and if you want to keep up to date with the old school RuneScape updates, DevBlog and polls, please subscribe. I've been Lewis, thanks for watching, goodbye.